Local lad Akshay Sharma returned a 2 under 70. To join Manu Gandas in the joint lead after round 2 of the inaugural Trident Open. Akshay and Manu, who shot a 73 on day 2, totaled 5 under 139 after 36 holes to lead their field by one shot.
Answer what you know. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the third round of the Trident Open 2025. This tournament is being held at the Chandigarh Golf Club, right in the heart of the city. Here right now is Manoj S, right alongside Manu Gandas and Akshay Sharma at 7 under par. I am your host Rahul Bajaj, joined alongside by my co-host Shivas Nath as well as Shaurya Singh as we bring you all the action live from this beautiful city.
Well, thank you very much, Rahul, and a very good morning to our viewers. Chandigarh Golf Club, home to a number of champions, hosting our Trident Open this week on the PGTI tour, and we couldn't be happier sitting here in the commentary box and looking forward to a great contest.
The local boy Akshay Sharma there making his turn on the 10th hole right now as the field tees off. And it's going to be an exciting tournament here, Shivas. We've got a huge list of players who are playing incredibly well this week. We've also got Yuvraj Singh Sandhu at 600 par, right alongside Mohammad Azhar. Taking a that beautiful tee shot, finding itself in the fairway. This is slightly on the left side, Shivas. On the 10th hole, it's a little dogleg that is there from the tee. It's like a little double dogleg that happens at the bend over there. And that's going to become a tough shot for this player. Probably have hit under the tree for all you know. Manu Gandas now. We got Manu also at 7 under par as he makes it down.
No, definitely. This 10th hole is a very strong one, and there are, of course, multiple ways to play that. And we've seen a big score or 3 happen, on this particular par 4. And I have to tell you, Rahul, I'm particularly excited about Shubham Jaglan playing and being in the field this week. He's been a strong flag bearer for Indian amateur golf, and then played top golf in the U.S. colleges as well. And now he's turned professional, and he's playing, I think, on the Latin America tour. And he's here this week, and very exciting to see him here.
What a great story. Shubham Jaglan is coming in from humble beginnings and thereafter finding his way thanks to help from a couple of foundations. Finding his footing in junior golf, thereafter going into amateur golf, playing top class, and ended up with a back injury. Thereafter, we set him back by I think a year or 2, and now he's back. He's playing some college golf, and he's qualified for the PGA Tour America. So, what a great story this is. As we take a look now at Manoj S, he's got his little putt 4-footer coming up on our screens now.
And of course, Northern India heading into the winter. India, as we know, has had a very torrid monsoon nationwide. And the greens, I believe, are stimping at 8, but rolling very true. So it's definitely going to be, that. Well, Manoj, yes, would have a few thoughts on, the greens as well, but I think that was entirely on him. But it does, of course, Rahul, make it very interesting. As the greens get slower, the turn on certain putts is, of course, minimized because the gravity plays a smaller role, in the way the ball meanders down slopes and on turns.
I must say that Manoj has actually got off to a very solid start of that front nine with 4 birdies on 2nd, 4th, 7th, and 9th. 7 and also got Jamal Hussain in the field this week. He is 4 under par through 12 holes of the day. And Shaurya Bhattacharya, winner from last week at the Pune Golf Club Open, currently at 5 under par, 2 shots away from the leader. Shubham Jaglan at 4 under par. We've got Gaurav Pratap Singh, Kshitiz Navid, Arjun Prasad, as well as K. Prabhakaran giving each other company at 3 under par.
No, definitely things are going to be very interesting. Scores have been not as low as on some previous tracks. Chandigarh Golf Club certainly showing its teeth, and I kind of like that because this really kind of sets them apart. Tough scoring conditions really brings the better players to the top. This is a very interesting par three. A bit of movement on this green. It's set a little higher than the fairway collection area in the front, guarded by a couple of bunkers. Let's see what he's got.
While I look at that screen right now, you've got that board at the back of the players, with PGTI, TT World Tour, as well as the PGA Tour on that board. Just got my heart in there.
Yeah, absolutely right. That is one hell of a board. We saw a few of those even at the past events, and it's really awesome that PGTI has this very strong alliance with the PGA Tour as well as the DP World Tour, and and therefore even the DP World event at the Delhi Golf Club, it's now almost been a month, allowed I think about 23 of our boys to actually be out there, compete with the best, and I think it's one of your awards, Dhruv Shuran, who actually was the highest finisher amongst the Indians, and then after Dhruv went off to Japan.
Yes, so Dhruv has been actually playing the Japan Golf Tour qualifying, and he's gone through the first two stages of qualifying. Now he's got two more to go, so there's still a long way away from getting a full card on the Japanese Golf Tour, but really looking positive and hoping for the best. After playing this week, he does move to he's having this tournament or two thereafter to play the third and fourth qualifying, but all for a good reason. Pin today on the 11th hole is 21 in from the front and 5 to the right, so that was a pretty terrific shot on the screen. And as we look now, we've got Shamim Khan, the man who is now coming back into form pretty much. Shivas, we've not seen him for a very long time, but seems to be getting back into his heydays.
No, Shamim's an old warhorse, and I wouldn't be really sure on the number, but I would imagine he's got about 30 odd wins on the PGTI.
Yes, I think he's also finished number one in God of Merit in the past. So, I mean, that is one of the most commendable things that they're able to do. It's not to finish number one on the God of Merit, and it's just phenomenal how he did it. What's something that I really like about Shamim is that not only has he won the golf, he's not a very lengthy player, actually. He doesn't hit the ball very far. But I've seen him winning even on a golf course like IBC, which usually tends to favor the long hitter, right? That just gives you an idea about the versatility of the player's game.
And Shamim is exactly a perfect example of the conversation, Rahul, you and I were having before we went on air, where we were talking about the authentic golf swings, the guys who know how to make a score out there. They're not just playing golf swing or cotton swing jail, as one of our mentors, Laurie Montague, would reference. And he finds a way to make it work. There's good rhythm, good tempo, it's repeatable, it's dependable, and he puts a score out there. So, Shamim definitely a very good example of old school golf right there. And there's not too many shots separating the big boys. You can just see that, leaders at 7 under, and there's probably about 10, 12 guys within 3, 4 shots.
That is Father Hussain coming in all the way from Bangladesh with a lone double bogey, unfortunately, on the sixth hole and a lineup of pars currently at 2 under for the tournament. And special mention here to the local lad, Angad Chima, who is at 5 under par for the day with 3 birdies on the back line. That's where he started from, and an eagle on the second. Catch me if you can is what Chima was playing today.
That's a nice bright shirt out there. It certainly distinguishes him. And hole number 10, the par 4. A lot of activity here, a lot of movement on the leaderboard. And Chandigarh definitely not a pushover of a golf course. It's been around for a while. It's Produced a lot of champions, international champions, the legendary G. Milkha Singh, our very own PGTI CEO and Commander in Chief Amandeep Johal, amongst others, the legendary Simranjeet Singh, and of course his son Amritinder Singh. So Harmeet Kalon, a lot of Uttam Singh Mundi, a bunch of people who've been representing India with distinguished reputations, all emerging from Chandigarh. And of course, the young brigade as well, with which Rahul you're particularly familiar.
Quite the hotbed Chandigarh has been for Indian golf for all of these years. Also, the younger players like you've got Angad Chima, Ajitesh Sandhu, Abhijit Chadda, Karandeep Kochar. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. And current order of merit leader, Yuvraj Sandhu. The list of players that come from this city is just absolutely phenomenal and very much so a hotbed for golf in the country. And I think the facilities and the atmosphere, the environment at Chandigarh is very conducive for sportsmen to sort of prosper. If we take a look now at Akshay Sharma, local lad again from the Chandigarh Golf Club. Akshay has played most of his golf at the Chandigarh Golf Club and practices all of his trade over here. Here he is, unfortunately leaving that putt way short. He's 7 under par, currently leading alongside Manu Gandas. So he'll have that about 6 footer now for a par here on hole number 10. I also happened to notice that on the leaderboard, young Anshul Kaptial made 4 birdies on the front nine, 2 on the back nine so far. He's still got 3 holes to go. What's really interesting is that even though he's dropped multiple shots alongside all those birdies, but the fact that he's actually going at it and making birdie after birdie, and that's really commendable. The game today is really very much a birdie game. Par is a far cry. Pars are not going to get you anywhere. Pars, like, you have to make the pars if you're not making the birdies kind of story. The old adage of saying that if you're in trouble, make a bogey. I think that's also kind of gone out of the window. If you're in trouble, just make a par. We have Manu Gandas now. Manu also a former number one on the PGTI and comes in from Gurugram. Has played a season or two on the DP World Tour. So take a look at his birdie putt here on the 10th. This putt to move to 8 under par. Something seems to have disturbed him, or maybe he wasn't quite so sure about the line that he had chosen. Manu was very positive in an interview that he gave to the media just yesterday. He was very positive about the way his game is trending. He likes the way he's playing, and he says that he likes the way his game is not trending in the right direction. So Manu, of course, giving himself the chance. Akshay Sharma, of course, went on to say that he's feeling pretty confident over the week. So interesting group here for all of us to view. Manu Gandas, unfortunately, will come up just slightly offline there for his birdie attempt. We'll have to settle for a tap in par. Should keep Manu at 7 under par, and players would here on move to long par 3, 11th. Thereafter, the course opens up a few birdie opportunities on hole number 12 as well as 13. 13 being a par 5, 12 being a dogleg par 4. The green is an interesting one, really on top of a mound, pretty much like an upturned bowl. But if you can hit your drive into the fairway, you'll probably have a lob wedge in, and that really gives you a good opportunity to set yourself up for birdie. You take a look here for this birdie putt. Badal Hussain, fortunately, misses that one. Really trying to catch hold of those shots that he's ended up dropping on the front nine. Great attempt here. Unfortunately, we'll have that little 2.5 feet now for a par.
Yes, Rahul, that 12th hole you were talking about, indeed, that is an elevated green, and God help you if you miss it on either side. The ball's just going to take off, and then it's a slim, longish green, and up and down is not the easiest thing in the world. So definitely, as the course opens up, these guys are going to get a little more aggressive and get after it, and then of course that's followed by the over the 13th, another par five. So things will move around a fair bit in that region. And having said that, we look at, of course, the leaderboard. We have Manu Gandas right at the top of the pack, along with Akshay Sharma at 7 under apiece. And then at 6 under, they are followed by local lad Yuvraj Sandhu, Manoj S, Mohammad Azhar. And then Shaurya Bhattacharya in solo sixth place at 5 under. And 4 under, there's a logjam with Kshitij Navid Kaul, Jamal Hussain, and Shubham Jaglan. And of course, at 3 under, then there's another bunch of folks. That's K. Prabhakaran, Arjun Prasad, Manjot Singh, and Gaurav Pratap Singh. So things definitely going to be very interesting with the 27 odd holes left before the culmination of this of the Trident Open. And the weather must be, of course, cooling up in Chandigarh as well, because we're here, of course, in the studio in Noida, and the temperature is hovering at a very comfortable 20 degrees, and Chandigarh being further up north. Definitely, guys are going to be enjoying some pleasant evenings. Although that said, we see most of our golfers wearing their golf shirts and not really any outerwear of any sense that actually allows us to believe the sun is out, it's nice and bright, and we should get a nice day of golfing. On screen now we have Shaurya. Interesting putt, interesting angle, and that's hole number 12, the par 4 that Rahul was talking about. Interesting pin position.
The 12th hole green, like we were talking about earlier, this is one of those greens which will really reward you if you're a good wedge player, but and also gives you some of the most curling putts, especially on the front half of the green. So if you can be really solid with that wedge, you are definitely going to set yourself up for a birdie, which all of these players are very good with their wedges, ladies and gentlemen. That was Manoj S. That should be a birdie for Manoj on the 12th. The pin today on the 12th hole is 32 in and 4 from the left, so long way away. Even after you've hit a big drive, you'll still have 2 clubs extra than the front edge. We take a look now at Manu Gandas coming up on the 11th hole. Manu, while battling with some wrist injuries, has still, sort of managed to stay afloat on the PGT of India. He's, really been having some trouble with that. As we now take a look at our leader, Akshay Sharma, local lad from the Chandigarh Golf Club. The tournament this week is presented to you by Trident. This is the 23rd event of the PGTI season, and carries a prize purse of 1 crore rupees. Trident Group is an Indian business conglomerate and a global player led by dynamic Mr. Rajendra Gupta, Member Parliament, Rajya Sabha, and Chairman, headquartered in Ludhiana, Punjab. Trident is one of the largest players in home textiles in India and abroad. Our leader has found the green here on the 11th hole, so no trouble there for Akshay. The company operates in 3 major business segments: textiles, paper, and chemicals, with its manufacturing facilities in Punjab as well as in Madhya Pradesh. Bangladesh's Badal Hussain now the third to tee off here in the leader group. Badal has hit a pretty terrific shot here on the 11th hole. He's left himself pin high. You know, they say that pin high is what players usually hit at on the higher tours.
So here we have them coming down the fairway, trumming along. Fairways look nice and lush. It's a bit of an overcast day as well. Chandigarh Golf Club, again, one of the busiest golf courses across the country. We understand that it's almost impossible to get a tee time because there are members and people that actually want to make that visit, not guests. It's one of the iconic golfing destinations in the country.
Absolutely. The course, though, is playing absolutely lush green for the week, as you can tell. If we take a look now at Marimuthu playing the par 5. It's an aerial view here of the Chandigarh Golf Club. What a scintillating view this is, flanked by the Sukna Lake on one side.
This lake, of course, sits on the outer side of the golf course, which you referenced, and that's where things the golf course opens up, and that's where you go full send.
Absolutely. What a lush golf course for this week. Players, of course, enjoying the conditions here at the Chandigarh Golf Club. There we have it. What a lovely drone coverage of the golf course. Rough also has been cut out beautifully for this week, as you can tell on the left and the right. The first cut as well as the second cut, very much visible. So can be quite a golf ball gobbler, if I may.
Golf ball gobbler. I like that. I like that. I'm very familiar with bushes and jharis and water bodies that gobble up golf balls. Very well put, Rahul. Hole number 11, par 3. Right to the left.
Pretty flat putt here for Badal Hussain.
It's called up and high. Keep doing that with irons going into 180, 185 and par 3s. It's really pretty solid number.
You know, they say that a good ball striker is the one who leaves himself pin high on every approach shot, and that's what great ball strikers across the world on higher tours like the PGA Tour, as well as all that we get basically a view of the ball gobbler.
That's a nice chip.
Terrific shot for Manu Gandas. He will have a little tiny tap in for a par.
So we have 57 golfers that actually made the cut. The cut was applied this morning because we had a bit of bad light yesterday. So 57 golfers playing the final 36 holes right here at Chandigarh Golf Club. It's lovely to see, and this is something we want our viewers to really appreciate the number of new sponsors that have embraced sport, are supporting PGTI, have come in this year to add to the already existing long-time sponsors and supporters of the game in India. And just a big shout out and a thank you to Trident Group, because it's with your support that our tour continues to grow, and our players have more playing opportunities to hone their skills, more tournaments to play, and then find themselves getting overseas to compete on the bigger and larger tours. So thank you very much, Trident Group. We appreciate that. So a tap in here for Shamim. No mistake there. And here we have a young man wearing a wonderful bright red shirt. Must say, the fashion quotient on the PGTI, along with the prize money, going up quite significantly. Maybe with the greens rolling a little slower this week, as we were told, speaking, we've got to take a little less line, hit them firm, as we say, back up, and just not leave it to chance and dive in. You've got to make good, firm, aggressive positive strokes.
Our first look here at Yuvraj Sandhu, another local lad here from Chandigarh. Like we said earlier, this is very much a hotbed for Indian professional golfers, as we've seen over the years. Sandhu cleans that up pretty nicely. The Chandigarh Golf Club was laid out in 1962 and is located next to Sukna Lake, adjacent to the residence of the Punjab governor. It's a 7,202-yard golf course, so makes it one of the longest golf courses in the country. And incidentally, most of the players that come out of this course also are some of the longest hitters off the golf ball. As we take a look now at Bipin Mukhia coming up on hole number 13. Bipin Mukhia draining that one right in the middle of the cup. And that is Om Prakash Chauhan getting his marker back into play. My apologies, that's Mari Muthu, not Om Prakash Chauhan.
Couple of guys going pretty low today. You have Amardeep Malik with 3 holes to play, and he's at 5 under for the round. And likewise, Angad Chima, who you spoke about earlier, he's also sitting at 5 under, having made 3 birdies and an eagle on the second hole. Par 5.
You know, as we speak about this, as well as the golf course, Shivas and the local lads, the fact that the golf course that you're actually, kind of brought up on, really determines the kind of game that you'll have. Like, you'll see a lot of players who come out of the Delhi Golf Club are really straight hitters of the golf ball, right? They've got very rhythmical swings, they hit it pretty straight. And guys who come out of Chandigarh, you see them hitting it really, really far. In fact,
gift yourself the red carpet treatment with luxurious 100% cotton bed sheets. My Trident, where luxury finds home.
पढ़ता है खेलता है झूलता उछलता है दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है मुश्किल खड़ी है खोले सीना सामने एक चट्टान है मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद
Gift yourself the red carpet treatment.
So there we have the visuals of one of our sponsors, Campa Cola, and my co-commentator and buddy Rahul Bajaj is also laying claim to making his zip कि उसको Campa Cola ही पीना है यार, वो भी कांच की बोतल में.
बिल्कुल, only कांच की बोतल में. Back now here on the 13th hole, the par 5. That is Shaurya Bhattacharya right in the middle of the fairway here on this par 5. Looking like a pretty approachable shot to the green.
You know that little skinny, dry tree around the middle of the fairway? It's taken out a ball of 3 over the years. It's an innocuous looking little dry tree, but incredible number of second shots and catches. Put it people trying to shape it around and right and left.
Brilliance of these little trees that are left around on the fairways is that somehow the golf ball has a funny way of finding them.
I think they have some magnetism.
But
I think on the 7th hole, that tree in the middle, that's up close, and I'm sure all of us had. The amount of ball marks in the trunk. Spent a day and a night and another day and a night just counting those.
That tree's taken quite a beating over the years.
And I can pretty much promise you, if you try to hit that straight on your own, you're probably not going to hit it. Most likely, you're going to be aiming on the side of it to be able to hit it. Shamim Khan cleaning up there and moving on to the next hole. There we have the aerial view of the 7,202-yard Chandigarh Golf Club. What a scintillating view this is. Must say, what lush fairways, Shivas, and flanked by these trees on the sides. A complete old school parkland design this golf course is. What a lengthy one at that.
Definitely, as we spoke, one of the most iconic golf courses in India with rich history and tradition as well. And I have to say, I've been there several times, and the members are ever so gracious, friendly, welcoming, chat about a lot of things in the golf course with very fair tea time. Also, subsequently in the restaurants and the bars, very nice people in Chandigarh, I have to say.
Yuvraj Sandhu has caught up with the leaders now, moves to 7 under par, tied with Manoj Manugandas.
So also moving up to 3 under is young Warren Parekh, and I noticed he started with eagle on the very first hole. That must be hell of a start. But sadly, at the 6th hole, he made a double bogey and given away the brilliance of eagle on the first hole.
And he caught up too, though, on the 7th and the 8th. So brought home back 2 birdies to end the front nine at 2 under par, and then another couple of birdies on that back nine, Shiva. So certainly, and Varun Parekh has been fighting to find his form now for quite some time after the last victory that he had.
You're absolutely right. I actually caught some time with young Varun at the DP World. He was there, his mother was there as well. And he seems to be stroking it well. He loves his putter, but he just somehow feels he's just not making enough putts. He's quite frustrated and not very happy. Unfortunately, he did miss a cut there, but he's a tremendously hard-working young man, smart golfer, and someone that I hope he finds his putting stroke and confidence back in his putting very quickly.
Shaurya has found himself at the back of the green here on the 13, the par 5, and should have a very makeable up and down opportunity over here. It's the pin today is 22 in from the front, 11 from the left, perched up at a pretty good location, very approachable for the players, especially from the place that Manoj as well as Shaurya have left themselves at. As we take a look at Samrat Sikdar coming up from pretty tough lie there, right behind the tree. Seems like he doesn't really have a follow through, and he doesn't. He had to punch that one back out and up, and nicely done though.
Safe, sensible shot, put himself in the putting surface, and that's his good play. It's likely his third shot on the par 3 with
Yep, absolutely. The important stuff is to make sure that you put yourself on the putting surface, give yourself a birdie putt, even if it's from a long range. I know it kind of hurts on a par 5 to do that, but so be it. Samrat Sikdar already having a bit of a tough day today, tied for 14th now with 2 over par, with 2 bogeys on the scorecard, lurking around at 2 under par. Has dropped off 2 under par to be 5 shots away from the leaders.
And Yuvraj Sandhu, in the meantime, has snuck up to the tied lead. Rahul, he with 7 under, alongside Manoj S and Manu Gandas, with birdie on the 13th. And you were talking about how this being a strong course, 7,300 yards. I also noticed a lot of our friends from RCGC Calcutta hit it and send it a very long way. So definitely the course, a golfer grows up on and learns on, deeply influences his style of play. And also the conditions, the kind of sand you have. So definitely, Rahul, the golfer, the course he grows up on, the style of play required from the tee or on the fairways or on the greens. You're right. It determines very significantly the way a player hits the ball, whether he's accurate, he hits it far and strong. Also the kind of grass and the soil, wedge play. Lots is determined, in their formative years. And then, of course, eventually once they become better elite amateurs and young professionals, they come to coaches like yourself who kind of show them the nuances of dealing with different kinds of turf conditions and sand and playing styles.
Samrat Sikdar now putting for a birdie here on the 13th hole. This putt to move to 3 under par and reduce some of the damage that has happened already on the course for him today. Lovely effort here by Samrat. He'll have to settle with a par. A little putt for Samrat to clean up. That would be a no profit, no loss situation for Samrat as he moves to the 14th hole. The 14th hole, an interesting little par 3 here, guarded by two bunkers, one on the left and one on the right front of the green. The green is about 25 or 28 deep and placed to about 180 to 190 yards off the tee box. Pins on the left side as well as the right side of the green are pretty tough pins to get to. Today's flag on the 14th hole is 20 in and in the center, which means it's just about perched up on top of that little mound, which is at the back of the green. So very much an approachable place, but players tend to leave their golf shots pretty much about 15 to 20 feet short of the hole over here and give themselves an uphill attempt at a birdie. Badal Hussain, unfortunately, didn't quite make that putt. Taps that one in on the 12th. Wind seems to be picking up here at the Chandigarh Golf Club as the players have the rest of the few holes to play. Leader group now on the 12th, which means players are left with another 6 holes to go. And the rest of the group should have just under that. Wind can be quite something here at the Chandigarh Club, especially going into the 15th, the dogleg par 4. You've also got the 16th, which is a par 5, a very long one at that. Kind of doesn't get over once it starts. And you've also got the approachable, drivable par 4, hole number 17 after that. But with the winds picked up, that can also be a tough one to get to. Place to almost, players have to carry at least 300 yards to be able to get past the trees, to be able to cut those corners. Back here, Manu Gandas now. Manoj S has got the lead on his own now with birdies on 12 and 13, moved up to 8 under par by himself. Lonely place to be.
So Chandigarh Golf Club, of course, has a very unique setup for the finish, as Rahul was mentioning. The par 4, 17th is a dog leg, sharp right angle dog leg left to right, with an out of bounds on the right. So you really have to send it hit a high ball off the tee, probably shape it left to right to ensure you get a chance to get to the green. And preceding the 17th is the 16th hole, another par 5, a long and strong one, 577 yards. And of course, my favorite out there is the 18th, because that tee shot requires a significant amount of skill. It's a mandatory left to right 30-yard movement, if not 30, well, maybe 20, and you might still find yourself on the left side of the fairway. And the green is guarded by, a glorified a water body that's halfway between a swimming pool and a death trap, and has seen a lot of rounds being undone. So very interesting final 3 holes that determine who the champion is going to be, and we're going to see that today and tomorrow. So we can fully expect some movement on the leaderboard. That said and done, we've not really seen anyone make a string of birdies and get away from the field yet. But there's a bit of potential being shown by Manoj S, who's put together a solid 4-under round for the 13 holes he's played today, as has homeboy Yuvraj Sandhu. So hole number 12, of course, a missed putt there. And that's something that Akshay will not be too pleased about. Nice bright day there in Chandigarh. And allow me now to welcome our co-commentator, Shaurya Singh, who has been waiting patiently for Rahul and me to stop engaging and indulging in each other and you guys. Welcome, Shaurya. Welcome to the hotspot.
Thank you for that, Shivas. I was rather regaled by what I was able to hear and learn from my illustrious co-commentators, Rahul and Shivas. So I was waiting patiently and, of course, enjoying the day's proceedings. The golf has been good thus far, and we have the usual suspects on top. The creme de la creme of the professional golf tour of India, Yuvraj Sandhu, Manu Gandas, both of them number 1 players, and it's going to be very interesting. Of course, Manoj S, Varun Parekh, indomitable long-hitting Varun Parekh. Rahul, what's your take? It's been a week where the cut has been quite high. The players have struggled on the greens, and where do you see this going?
Well, firstly, Shaurya, welcome back into the commentary box. I think that the last week when we saw the Pune Golf Club Open, we saw only Yuvraj as well as Shaurya kind of running away with everything, and left the rest of them in trying to fight for the 3rd position, and that was one thing. And this week we of course see a much more dense leaderboard. So pretty much anyone has a chance as of now. I think Manoj, of course, is trying to take off at 8 under par in his 3rd round now. And, the 12th position with Gaurav Pratap Singh as well as Kshitij Naved call at 3 under par. I think they also are very much at this moment in approachable distance. Shubham Jaglan now coming up here for a birdie. Shubham currently at 5 under par for the tournament. Unfortunately, that wouldn't find the bottom of the cup. He'll have to settle with that little tap in. Playing alongside probably someone whom he's looked up to as a kid, Shamim Khan.
Yeah, Shubham, a prodigious youngster, and now settled in the States, doing his college from there, and of course traveling here as well, showcasing some of that talent that he's known for. As we have a look at this 13th hole, quite the nifty little par 5, hole number 13. Players are looking for a birdie here. For the longer hitters, you can get a driver and maybe even a 9-iron. I'm sure in your heyday you would have done that. as we have a look at this birdie putt.
My heydays probably weren't as good as yours, Shaurya. I think you were probably hitting 9 irons in there. I think I was mostly chipping it out from the right rough. And unfortunately, that was just a little brush off the left edge for our friend Mohammad Azhar. Mohammad Azhar currently sitting pretty at 6 under par. So just 2 shots away. So very much, lots of players right now in the field have a chance at this tournament. Unfortunately, Akshay Sharma, the local lad who's been leading all this while since yesterday, has dropped 2 shots on 10th and the 12th to be at 5 under par. So wheel seem to be coming off, but he still got the par 5 13th now right in front of him.
What's interesting to note is that the race for number 1 is still alive. It's got an interesting lineup of players. Yuvraj Sandhu, Arjun Prasad, as we have a look at the old war horse. Still going strong. Shamim Khan. He's got the Swilkin touch. Probably been one of the best putters on tour in history, and might, if he had those kind of statistics, would probably be one of the top 10 putters in the world of all time. The way he has putted, the scores, he's the all-time highest earner on the professional golf tour of India. That's a good putt right there. It's been rather unique. Oh, he tried that putter flip, but almost worked out. That's something that Tiger does with a lot of aplomb.
That grip nearly slapped his face there, but that's all right. He's still alive, walking by to his next hole. As we take a look now at Shaurya Bhattacharya, who's just made a birdie on hole number 13 to move to 6 under par for the tournament.
In that vein, I was thinking how difficult the club twirl is. It looks so classy when Tiger does it or Rory does it, and never does quite come off when lesser mortals do try it, even like myself. It's not the easiest thing. It looks pretty stylish, pretty similar to our players here on hole number 14.
I'm just wondering about all the things that I have to teach as a coach now. A club flip and a club twirl and hitting the golf ball itself. I mean, quite the thing. Bhattacharya putting for birdie here on the stunning par 3, hole number 14. Pin today 20 into the center, so seems like he's in line with the flag here. With an uphill attempt at that, and he finds the bottom of the cup. Shaurya Bhattacharya would move to 7 under par after that putt. 15, 16, 17, 18th all give the players a chance for a birdie if they can place their drives pretty well.
Yeah, the recently christened winner, Shaurya, very good young player. And what I like the most about him is he's got a good head on his shoulders. Very even-keeled. Shaurya in the group alongside Manoj S. and MD Somrat Sikdar. There are quite a few holes here which are genuine birdie opportunities, such as 13th. The 14th, which is in view, is a par 3. It's probably players getting in there with a 7 or a 6 hand, depending on the pin position. You really have to earn your birdies here at Chandigarh Golf Course. Good putt.
Lots of international names here in the field after the 2-day cut has been laid out. Jamal Hussain from Bangladesh leads that challenge of the internationals. Currently 3 under par for the day, 4 under for the tournament. Krip Prabhakaran from Sri Lanka, currently sitting at 4 under par as well. We've also got Somrat Sikdar, who is also from Bangladesh, whom we just took a look at on this 14th hole. We'll just take a look at Manoj S. while I continue my little list of the international players.
Fairly straightforward putt here, maybe a little inside left and right in the heart of the hole. Good performance by Manoj this week. As we have a look at Manu Gandas here. Perfect angle to see him unleashing one here.
Second shot on hole number 13 for Manu. Attacking the green, going just off it on the overside of it. Should be a makeable up and down for him, though. Pin is in a pretty friendly position compared to where the ball is at. Could have run off a little bit on that downhill, but I think he'll still have a very good look at a chip and putt. And talking about the international names, we've also got Koichiro Sato from America, who is currently at 1 over par for the tournament. We've got Badal Hossain. We've also got Subhash Tamang from Nepal. He's created quite the noise. And Enthangaraja from Sri Lanka, currently at 1 under par for the day. We've also got Mohammad Akbar Hussain from Bangladesh. You've got Joshua Seal and Zakir Usman Jakir also from Bangladesh. So lots of international players in the field this week. Of course, the tour from here on still has got multiple tournaments remaining to be played, as that we have our leaderboard now on the screens for you all to view.
Okay, the top 10 scores, and we also congratulate our ladies cricket team. Women's cricket, what they did, what a historic win. Sport is definitely on the up, as we have a look at Akshay here. It's really good from this range, around 40 yards. Perfect contest. And comes about feet, so not too bad. Best, you would expect a little more from himself on that shot. Akshay, of course, a local, plays out of Chandigarh Golf Course. What are your thoughts on this bunker shot that Badal faced? A lot of green to work with. Fairly straightforward, and I think he's done pretty well. I'd give him a 9.5 on 10 for that. Should be able to make that putt.
Yeah, you're quite the invigilator, aren't you, Shaurya? 9.5 on 10 is what Badal has earned, as the players, after the Trident Open here at the Chandigarh Golf Club, players would move to Assam all the way for the Indian Oil Servo Masters being played for a prize purse of 1 crore as well. After that, the players will be playing at the Rambagh Golf Club, Jaipur, followed by Vishwa Samudra Open for 2 crore rupees at the Delhi Golf Club. And a new tournament has been added to the list thereafter, the Sidco Open at the all-new Khargar Valley Golf Course in Navi Mumbai. And the players thereafter will be moving to Jamshedpur/Tatanagar for the Tata Open 2025, another tournament with a prize purse of 2 crore rupees to end the 2025 season. So still plenty of golfing to be viewed here, Shaurya, and a lot of good action as well.
Yes, rich prize purses and some good golf courses as well. Good mix of courses. As you have a look at Manu here, it's not the easiest chip from where he's coming. It's a little slick from there downhill. I'm not quite certain what kind of lie he's drawn, but he's being rather particular on this one, taking his time. Something that comes rather naturally to me.
A little update from the leaderboard. Shaurya Bhattacharya actually hold that putt on the 14th for a par, so he'd still remain at 6 under. While Manoj S seems to have stepped on some sort of an accelerator, has made his third birdie on the trot on the 14th. Now we take a look at Manu, who should have a pretty approachable chip attempt here. Probably also eagle level.
Yeah, it's going to be a little quick from there, so the outcome will be determined by the
whatever you think and I think really doesn't hold much, does it? We're just commentators, they say that those who can't commentate, and that's what we're doing right here. Talking about becoming a poet, I think I've been inspired by all that experience. Of course, at some point of time, I was hoping that some would get drained into me. Badal Hussain needing to make a few putts here on this leaderboard as a should break a little bit from the left to the right for him.
Should be a done deal here. Uphill putt after that shot. Not really considerable amount of break here, so I'd say that this is bread and butter for a player of Badal standard. Very good with the putter, and yes, comfortably makes that birdie. Birdie on this hole almost feels like par for the course. When you hit a good drive, you only have a mid iron for the medium length players and a shorter iron for the very long hitters. So good on him. I'd say similar sort of putt as far as difficulty is concerned. Maybe a little right to left for Manu Gandas, but nothing that he would lose sleep over.
Absolutely. So we take a look now. Manu should have a pretty straightforward putt over here. And he, of course, is superb with the flat stick. This would take him to 8 under par and just one shot shy of the leader, Manoj. That birdie would move Manu to 8 under par for the tournament. And special mention here, as I'm looking at Anshul Kapial's scorecard, which I, commented on just a few minutes ago. He has finished the round at 4 under par with 8 birdies on the scorecard. And I kind of really love that scorecard because, even though he's dropped some shots, but he's made 8 birdies on his round. Akshay Sharma now cleaning up here. Does a good job of that. Akshay should have made a birdie on this par 5, 13th.
Talking about his 8 birdies, I know that it would be a little lazy of me to just say that because of his prodigious long drives, but I can't really add too many elements. This golf course, of course, will yield birdies if you can drive it the way that he does, and he really does put a hit on that ball.
I kind of like this scorecard because it just shows that he's not afraid to take chances. That's why he's gone around and made some errors on the scorecard, but he's also, picked up 8 shots on that leaderboard. Badal Hussain now on the 14th.
I think this would suit him, this hole. It's amenable for a draw. And that's a pretty decent shot. Unfortunately, it's in the wrong hole. It's a hole in one, but not the kinds that Badal would be looking forward to. So for all our viewers who are not initiated with the intricacies of the rules of golf, now he'll get a free drop. And that would not count as a hole in one.
And I'm sure from back there he must be thinking that he's probably going to get the keys to a car, but unfortunately that wouldn't be the case. The only car that he's going to see driving towards him is going to be the referee's cart. But now Manu Gandas going off second off the tee.
Now Manu here, of course, he is able to put on a lot more compression. So you'll see that his ball would not roll as much after pitching. And that's, of course, an effect of the amount of spin, the RPM that you can put on the golf ball and the shaft lean that he's able to put along with the speed. So interesting to note the difference. His ball wouldn't quite saunter on like Badal's did. A lot more assertive. Normally see where it pitches. Tends to stop there in the vicinity in normal conditions. Let's see. That ball is underway. Camera work brilliant as usual. And there you see. He's done a good job. Just pitching off the green. Hence getting that little bit of forward roll. would have a realistic birdie opportunity there, would Manu.
Well, Manu, of course, going with a more prudent approach here, leaving himself an uphill 20-footer for a birdie. Let's see what Akshay Sharma does over here now. Akshay is a very good ball striker, hits a bit of a cut on his swings. Sharma, of course, would be trying to push the pedal now a little bit. He has found himself on the putting surface as well. Should be having a similar putt to Manu's in terms of length, but a very different line at that. And of course, very clairvoyant of my friend here, Shaurya Singh, who actually called out that shot by Badal Hussain and said that this is this is a hole that will actually suit his game. He actually
Passion can be soft, comfortable, and good looking. My Trident, my love for home. Passion can be soft, comfortable, and good looking. My Trident, my love for home.
a lot of work to do over here for a par on the 15th. 15th hole over here at the Chandigarh Golf Club is a dogleg left par 4, plays to upwards of 420 yards, and players usually would try to cut the corner with a driver, or the ones who are not very comfortable with doing that would end up hitting a 3-wood straight down into the fairway and be left with a mammothous 4-iron in. We take a look now. Shubham Jaglan coming up from the right side of the green over here.
Yeah, probably the most difficult hole on this golf course, as we have a look at Shubham. And he's done really well with that chip shot, almost holding it and having a kick in for par. As I welcome Mr. Shivasnath into the commentary booth. We still have Manoj, who's leading the proceedings, followed by Manu Gandas, Shaurya Bhattacharya, Mohammad Azhar at 6 under par. And 3 players tied at 5 under par: Shubham Jaglan, Yuvraj Sandhu, and Akshay Sharma.
Thank you very much, Shaurya. So, you were talking about the water being the reason these guys hit it a far, long way. Nothing said about the butter chicken in Chandigarh. I mean, that's got to have a role to play. All these boys hit it so far. They're so strong. And, of course, they've, branded their style of play around the course they grew up on.
Yeah, you look at some of the absolute flag bearers of Indian golf. You have Jyoti Randhawa, you have Arjun Atwal, and Jeev Milkha Singh. Need I say more? Shiv Kapoor also, of course, he's a Delhi lad, but does have his connections to this part of the country.
So things now beginning to hot up at the top of the leaderboard. When things started this morning, we had a lot of guys bunched up, but now there seems to be a bit of a separation. We see that young Manoj S has gone and got himself up to 9 under, and then there's of course Manu Gandas following him at 8 under, and then there's a bit of a separation because in third and fourth place are Shaurya Bhattacharya and Mohammad Azhar, who are 6 under, and Yuvraj having made a double bogey on the 15th hole, a 6 on the par 4, has dropped further off the pace.
Yeah, it's been a week where the players have started slow, so as to speak. You saw the leader at 5 under through 2 rounds. As we go to the group, Shubham Jaglan, Mohammad Azhar playing alongside Shamim Khan as well. Here at hole number 15. I think it'd be safe to say this is the postcard hole here, one of the most difficult par 4s in the country. My apologies, that's the group of Shaurya Bhattacharya, Manoj S, and we just saw Sumrit Sikdar hit that putt. But coming back to this hole, Shivas, it's one which requires the player to hit an exacting drive. And then if you're lucky, you followed up with maybe a 9 or an 8 iron.
We have Shaurya Bhattacharya now on screen. Looks like a straightish putt, but then of course this of course to short, more of a tap in. But the slower greens because of the onset of the winters and the delayed monsoons, making sure that these guys really have to give their putts a bit of a wrap to get it up to the hole, and obviously to maintain its line, which again, the slower the green, the less the putt's likely to break. And that's something which, these boys are called professionals, and they're professionals for a reason. They understand this, and they adapt themselves week on week, course to course, based on the conditions and the type of turf and grass and the style required to make things work there.
Yeah, I spoke to a few players. They found it a little difficult on the greens this week. Of course, you have a little bit of rough as well on the golf course. As we have a look at Badal here on hole number 16. We saw him hit that good shot, which just about trickled off the green. So he walks away with his par. While we have a look at Manu Gandas, who had hit the hard of the green, now has this kick in for his par. Manu is an erstwhile former number 1 player. That's a little bit of an oxymoron. Oh, he's an erstwhile number 1 player on the Professional Golf Tour of India. Has played golf on the DP World Tour. And really learned a lot from that experience. Has elevated his game to another level. And Indian golf, of course, is on the up and up. You saw Rory and the other stars descend upon Delhi golf course. Tommy Fleetwood, I think that would have done a world of confidence for our players to go toe-to-toe with the best in the world. As you have a look at Akshay. Very unique putting style, crouched over. Reminds me a little of Arnold Palmer back in the day. Also likes to favor the left to right movement of the tee and of the fairway. It's very consistent and doesn't quite release the club as much as some of the other players. So it gives him a lot more accuracy and maybe sacrifices a little bit on distance. And yeah, you can see what the players face when they're playing hole number 15. It's a dog leg to the left, meanders a little bit on the left. You need a good sizable carry of at least 290 yards if you want to take on that corner. And then the longer hitters can maybe have a 9 iron or a pitching wedge as well. As the crow flies, this measures 475 yards. And there's not much room on the right. And if you go with the 3 wood, you could probably get maybe a 5 iron. So it's a little bit of a risk and reward in certain aspects. As we have a look at hole number 16, the par 5. And this par 5, only the longest can get here in 2. It's placed to 577, but plays a little longer than that. You really have to cut the corner on the right hand. This is a dog leg to the right, diametrically opposite to hole number 15.
No, definitely, 3 very interesting finishing holes. The par 5, unless you have the length and, the oomph of the tee, 577 yards, certainly not really achievable in 2. Then it comes down to your wedge play. Here, of course, we see Yuvraj, who absolutely has the oomph factor, and, he's made a double bogey in the previous hole, and he's going to be looking to bounce back, likely playing his third shot onto the green. And then the 17th, of course, one of the, trickiest, most interesting par 4s. Yuvraj having made a nice chip, about a couple of feet away, should make no mistake there. It's interesting how, these greens are, while they're stimping at about 8, they just visually seem to be a little bit slower than an 8. And Yuvraj, making no mistake, making a nice little chip there.
Yeah, great effort by Yuvraj. In all likelihood, he'll be putting for a birdie and would bounce back from that double bogey 6. And that's, I'd say, dare I say, a mark of a champion. Whenever they drop a shot or 2, they immediately do make a birdie. Mari Muthu are also a prodigious ball striker, said a country mile. Would be interesting to note a driving contest between himself and Yuvraj. I'd keenly want to watch the result of that. Who actually hits it further? Of course, Yuvraj, his other facets of the game are in a lot more control. Mari Muthu does have unbridled power, but he does blow hot and cold. And he does have the ability of going deep. As we have a look at Mukhya here.
Well, this putt should move a little bit from the left to the right. So very nice finishing holes, the last 3, the 16, 17 and 18. And the 17th itself, drivable par 4. Favors a high driver or a 3-wood based on, of course, your length, left to right ball flight. And the 18th, of course, has a tremendous left to right
Yeah, great finishing stretch indeed. 16, 17, 18, a par 5, par 4. And then the 18th also, it's can give you a birdie or a bogey depending on your approach. As you have a look at Mari Muthuar, this putt should break a little from his right, and I think he has he also had an errant read, just like myself. It eventually veered off to the right rather than turning the other way. So had both himself and I flummoxed, but nevertheless he would make a par and move on. He's an absolute powerhouse, is Mari Muthuar. In another life, he could have been a top pugilist as well. We have a look at Yuvraj, who is giving some thought to this putt. Maybe a few insects or flying objects in the way. But should be able to make this comfortably. UV does it, makes a birdie, and that would get him back to 6 under par. Yeah, you can see the fist bump. So, of course, that was a birdie. And what I like the most about him is his body language. A really confident, athletic walk. Doesn't let bogeys and the like get to him. That's really important for top players. And while we have a look at our players striding down, let's have a look at some of the scores. I think that's the 15th hole that you can see. You can see that snaking to the left, and you can see that line of trees. So if you want to take that on, you must have both accuracy and power. It's not going to be good enough to just have one of the either. On hole number 15. What a beautiful view here in Chandigarh. The city beautiful. Flanked by Panchkula, Chandigarh, Mohali, Tri-City. And must tell you, the majestic views of the drone are well worth their weight in gold, if I may say.
Absolutely sure. These drones have made viewership, the entire viewership experience so delightful, and it helps everybody right from the commentary box, and even on a lot of these golf apps that you have. People visiting golf courses across the world, they get these drone shots or what they call a flyover, and that just makes it a lot more interesting because you kind of get visual. It makes a course look pretty, and the greenery, which a lot of the trees that many of us who have been on the golf course take the flora and the fauna for granted. And look at this, it's just gorgeous. You can see these are old trees, lush green. A death knell for many who actually hit it into the trees. But well, thank God for the drones and helping us out in our production team that does a wonderful job with that. So as you were saying, the 15th hole, a 474-yard par 4. I'm sorry, par 5. 474-yard par 4. It's a strong hole. Accuracy and length of the tee at a serious premium out there.
Yes, there are quite a few that even hole number 10 here that driver is taken out of your hand. You're actually going with maybe a rescue and then a mid iron. So it's pretty difficult, this golf course, especially if you don't have your ball striking game. And of course, we're back here at the hole in discussion, hole number 15.
Absolutely right, Shaurya. This is a golf course that, if you don't have your ball striking game on point, it absolutely magnifies your weakness for that week. And, as we know, as golfers, professional or amateur, it's pretty hard for all the stars to align. So, getting off the tee, getting into the right spots, hitting it solid, shaping it the way you need to, because this course also demands a lot of artistry, and shot making skills. So definitely a course that brings out the best players to the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, we can have a look at MD Azhar, who's on the front left of shot of the screen. Now, it would be interesting to note if he flights it all the way there or it's one of those bump and run sort of shots. It looks like he's going with a sandwich. We'll give it some airtime. Now, of course, it turned out to be neither of the two. It had a little bit of airtime and a lot of runs. So I myself am not quite certain what shot he went with. It rolled a lot more than it should have. Maybe one of those thigh spinners is what they call these chip shots, where they have a lot of spin and release. Yeah, have a look at Shubham here.
Yeah, the thigh spin, a great concept. A little low, clippy shot that eventually comes to a stop. A lot of videos on social media from some of the top Thai professionals floating around it. For those who haven't actually heard of the concept, I would encourage you to go online and check out what a Thai spinner is, see those videos, and those are very incredibly effective shots played off the back foot, sometimes even behind the back foot, and very nice, clippy, toe deep, and back to the par putt on the 15th hole. Well done. No mistake there.
Shubham, of course, product earlier on in the days of the Golf Foundation. And I must say that all these foundations and these sort of establishments doing so much for the sport, helping our talent come to the fore. And he's made a name for himself. Of course, he's a very talented individual. And he's kept the course. Even, prior to him, there was Ashok Kumar, I think if I'm not wrong, and many others. So, of course, the great game of golf is all about giving back. That's the essence of the sport. Is as we have a look at MDS, maybe about all of 6 feet, break a little to the left, and look good, but not good enough in the end.
No, you were speaking about the Golf Foundation, and you're right. It started with our good friend and benefactor Amit Luthra, who himself has been a national champion and Arjuna awardee, and he's really put his heart and soul into growing the Golf Foundation, and now, of course, the CEO is his nephew Angad Luthra. And congratulations are in order for the Golf Foundation. They've recently signed a landmark deal or agreement with the RNA, and RNA will be supporting their talent hunt and other endeavors. So 25 years of the Golf Foundation, global recognition. Well done to the Golf Foundation and Amit Luthra. Kudos.
Back to the action on hole number 15. This week, of course, a low-scoring week by the high standards of the Professional Golf Tour of India. We have the leader at 8 under par, Manoj S. And for all of you who are tuning in right now, I'd like to tell you that we're live at the Trident Open 2025 from the Chandigarh Golf Club in the heart of Chandigarh. And that's Sukna Lake. What an absolute beauty. You can go boating. And if you're a very valiant swimmer, then maybe swim across it. Of course, get the requisite permits for that. And then after your swim or boating, come and play some golf. I think it's a lively city. Sport runs in the blood here. And a joyous city, I must say. And we're talking about the cuisine here. It's some tasty food and a lot of sport. And they, of course, have the joy de vivre, every one of them, each and every resident of the Tri-City, full of love and positivity.
I couldn't agree more with you, Shaurya. We've spent, all of us, some wonderful times on the golf course, in the clubhouse, and the lovely dhabas and restaurants around the city. The Tri-City never fails to please its visitors. Very, very hospitable people, great sense of humor, and they make wonderful friends, as we all have, on and off the golf course. So here we are at the 16th hole, the interesting little par 4. What was your strategy, Shaurya, when you took on this hole? Did you kind of hit a high fading driver, or did you take the safety first route when you played the tour?
Pretty much is hit and pray. As you look at Shaurya Bhattacharya, that's been my strategy for most of my career. As you have a look at Shaurya, he hikes that up. And doesn't he do a beautiful job of that? That's a great shot by him with about 6 feet coming back.
Well, I like your strategy. Yours was hit and pray. Mine has always been pray and then hit.
Well, but in all seriousness, it was a left-right fade. And for me, it was a three-shotter. Hit a 3-wood as close to the green. But if you have to really take on the green, then your drive has to be a lot more aggressive. You have to take on the right trees and try and cut the corner. Otherwise, you can't get there in 2. But that's fraught with danger, because if you leak it, then you're stuck in the trees. And sometimes you can't quite buy yourself a chip out either. It's a sideways chip out. So those are quite dense trees here, which flank both the par 5, the 2nd and 15th. I'd like to welcome back Mr. Rahul Bajaj to run us through the rest of the proceedings. Rahul, of course, in addition to be a great player himself, a silver medalist at the Asian Games, and now imparts his knowledge to the next set of great golfers.
So for whatever little knowledge I have, whatever eat, pray, and love conversation that you both were having a little while earlier, I can promise you that Shaurya was praying before he was hitting, right? And he was praying a really long one.
Well, it's a very well documented fact what the speed of his prayers were, right, Rahul?
Absolutely. In fact, I think even the referees have gone to pray after watching him. So let's get back to the action here. Samrat Sikdar now on our screens. Samrat Sikdar, unfortunately, is really wheels are really getting loose on his vehicle today. 3 over par for the day, 1 under for the tournament. Here on the 16th hole. Sikdar with 3 drop shots. I mean, he's had a row of pars on his scorecard, but unfortunately, I think it looks like he hasn't been able to quite drop any putt. I think that was probably his first birdie of the day here on the 16th hole, the par 5. A breath for him. And as we look at the rest of the proceedings, Angad Chima with 6 under par, the local lad really pulling one together. 3 birdies on the back nine, eagle on the second, and a birdie on the 8th. And the last one remaining to be played. We've got Shaurya Bhattacharya now on our screens. A man lurking currently at 6 under par. Shaurya with his long-time trusted caddy, Tony. They both make a phenomenal team. The other day I was listening to a podcast and they said that a good player and a bad caddy is equal to a good player. Good caddy and a bad player is equal to a bad player. And a good caddy and a good player is equal to a good team. So right.
I couldn't agree more with you, Rahul, because the caddy-player relationship is so sacrosanct, and it is indeed a team sport at some level. It was so heartening to see at the DP World International that when Tommy won, his caddy was also called on stage and presented with a medal, because the caddy is really someone who is the only one in contact with the player, and it does become a team sport. Keeping the player hydrated, calm, collected, zoned in. Very, very important for a trusted resource to be out there. And a lot of the caddies, as go out there well in advance, scope out the course, pace it all out. It's one hell of a job. It's no fun out there. As Kevin Kisner said, this as a player, it ain't no hobby.
Of course, it ain't no hobby. Manoj yes now here on the 16th, who are leader after a drop shot. Manoj cleans that one up very beautifully here on the 16th hole. Unfortunately, Shaurya didn't quite find the ball on the cup here. We have that new putt to close the 16th, the par 5. The players now hereafter will be moving to the 17th hole, the very reachable and drivable par 4, although only for the long hitters. Like now on the left side of the fairway on the 17th there is a bunker, which is so.
This is 16, 17, and 18, 3 very interesting finishing holes. A par 5 that is gettable in 2, a par 4 that is gettable in 1, and the finale, a par 4 where it moves strongly from left to right. You have to absolutely shape it off the tee, left to right with a tee shot, and then based on where the pin position is, and particularly if it's on the right, you have to be very, very careful of that lurking water body out there. But this reference as a swimming pool moonlighting as a water hazard. So, and you must know that the wind does move left to right, particularly as the day gets on that 18th hole. So it certainly makes for a very interesting finale. Nothing to be taken for granted, even if you've hit a gorgeous tee shot down the middle, shaping it 30 yards left to right. So here we are at the brutal 15th hole, the 474-yard par 4. And as you can see, it's no surprise or no small wonder that Chandigarh continues to produce top-class golfing professionals who are exceptional ball strikers.
Well, absolutely exceptional ball strikers. And where is this swimming pool which is moonlighting as a water hazard, Shivas? And on this 18th hole, I don't quite remember it being a swimming pool, because it really was never fun when I found myself in there. Usually when I go to a swimming pool, it's pretty fun.
Well, sometimes Rahul can leave me speechless. Well, the gorgeous blue tiles that get in your face and into your head. And we've seen a few golf balls go astray in swimming there, never to be found again, or never to be wanted or reclaimed by the owners ever again.
Absolutely. In fact, one of the things about that 18th hole that I really, really like is the fact that after you hit one drive into the fairway, water hazard definitely sits there as a bit of a hindrance, and really comes into play if you're coming in from the rough or you're trying to act too cute with those pins on the right side, right? So that's when it really comes into play, and it can be a very tough approach shot, especially when you're coming in under pressure and down the stretch as a leader into the or maybe one shot back or one shot ahead, one of those things. And then it can really start shining into your eyes. Badal Hussain cleaning that one up on the 15th. Shortly, ladies and gentlemen, I will make sure that you all get to see that water hazard slash swimming pool. Of course, swimming pool for my co-commentator over here who loves a dip every now and then. And I think he means so, because a lot of times the leaders or the winners of tournaments are thrown into water hazards and they turn into swimming pools. And I think Shivas has been privy to that. Unfortunately, I haven't quite seen the light of day in those terms. And although I have in my past had pretty good days on this golf course, I really enjoyed playing over here. Akshay Sharma, unfortunately, he couldn't quite find the bottom of the cup here on the 15th hole. The 15th is probably one of the toughest par fours across the country, if I may.
So Manoj and Manu Gandas having separated themselves a bit from the other boys, both of them sitting at 8 under, nobody at 7 under, and Yuvraj after that birdie on the 17th in solitary, on the 16th in solitary third spot at 6 under. And at 5 under, we have 4 players, Akshay Sharma, Shivam Jaglan, Shaurya Bhattacharya. And at 4 under, we have Jamal Hussain, Prabhakaran, and Mohammad Azhar.
We have a lot of birdies on hole number 16, the par 5. We've also got a couple of players who made bogeys over there. Pretty much an unforced error, right, for a par 5, Shivas. Don't you think for a professional golfer going on a par 5 and dropping a shot is pretty much like a 2-shot swing for their plans?
Absolutely. It has to hurt, and that's something which
Manu cleans that one up on the 15th. Manu should stick around at 8 under par for the tournament. Of course, as Shivas mentioned a few moments ago, now we've got we've got Manu and Manoj, both M's, at 8 under par, 3 shots ahead of all the players who are giving each other company at 5 under: Yuvraj, Shaurya, Shubham Jaglan, Akshay Sharma.
A very solid round by Angad Chima. He's finished his round at a 6 under today to move to 3 under overall with 4 birdies and an eagle. So that's a very solid result for young Angad on his home course today.
Well, if Angad can pull off one more like that one tomorrow, he will surely have a shot at this title.
And Varun Parok, of course, having made his second double bogey, having undone a lot of his good work.
Brilliant shot here by Mohammad Azhar on hole number 16, coming up from the left side of the green here. It's a brilliant flop shot approach, high soft drop of the ball, leaving himself just under 10 feet for an up and down.
Very interesting. No one having really run away. The scores being significantly lower, well, or rather higher than many of the preceding events. And Chandigarh Golf Club certainly, providing the skill contest and the difficulty index.
Doors pretty much still wide open here for the Trident Open. Here, the inaugural Trident Open, ladies and gentlemen, being played here at the Chandigarh Golf Club. Shubham Jaglan coming up from the right side of the green here on the 16th. He's hit that one up quite aggressively. He's gone way past the hole, about 15 or 18 feet by.
And in the meantime, Yuvraj has, of course, bogeyed the 17th, the par 4 17th, and dropped down to 5 under. Now, that presents a 3-shot lead to the 2 M's, Manoj and Manu.
So be sure that, ladies and gentlemen, you're definitely going to be finding yourselves in an interesting viewing tomorrow of this Trident Open on the final day. We should begin pretty much at the same time tomorrow. This is the inaugural tournament here, the Trident Open, with a prize purse of 1 crore rupees is what is being played for. The winner, of course, makes a check of 15 lakh rupees, and thereafter the rest of the players get the prize money according to their positions. This is the 23rd event of the PGTI season of 2025. The Trident Group is an Indian business conglomerate and a global player led by the dynamic Mr. Rajendra Gupta, member of the Parliament Rajya Sabha and chairman. Company is headquartered in Ludhiana, Punjab, one of the largest players in home textiles in India and abroad. And of course, we have our tour partners as well, who are a part of the PGT of India in Victorious Choice. We've got Rolex, Amritanjan Electro Plus, Campa, all the partners. So we take a look now at Shubham Jaglan coming up for a birdie here on the 16th hole.
It's really heartening to see young Shubham making his PGTI debut as a professional at this event. Of course, he's played a few of them as an amateur in the past, but as a professional, this is his first start on the PGTI. This looks somewhat like a birdie opportunity, I would believe. Misread that. Pretty slow coming up that hill as well. Greens are a bit slow, and certainly for Shubham, who's coming from the US, having played a lot of professional golf there, these greens would be a bit of a handful to manage with the pace being a lot slower. A good round coming in today from Amardeep Malik as well, a solid 5 under, which was peppered with 7 birdies and 2 bogeys, and that moved him up to 14th place today. And he sits overall at 2 under for the tournament after this 5 under round today.
Shivas, it's very interesting to see that players who play at similar kind of courses actually do excel in similar kind of courses. And the Chandigarh Golf Club is a place where Amardeep has always had a good time, and he plays a lot of his golf at the Noida Golf Club. That will be a remaining putt of about 4 feet for Shamim. So he plays a lot of his golf at the Noida Golf Club as well as the JP Greens here in Greater Noida. And, the length of both the courses is fairly long. And, owing to that, you will always see that players tend to excel in the kind of courses that they are, spending most of their time in, as we spoke about some time earlier, how the games get shaped up by the kind of courses you play on, and then the familiarity that plays a part.
They're absolutely right about that. And 100%, a lot of players have their favorite courses because, it's simply said it suits their eye, but really it's their playing style and their ability to, visualize shots on those courses. So yes, and then of course there are good memories, good energy. That's a great birdie there. You can see the energy on that, a little fist pump, a little high five between the caddy and the player. Absolutely awesome. And a little birdie buddy on the right side, raising his wedge, 8-iron, driving iron, whatever have you. Bale bale. So as the birdie rolls in and the bale bale dance happens, I shall hand over to Shaurya Singh. He's here, very dapper, tweed jacket, enjoying the onset of the Delhi winters.
It seems like he's the one who's starting them, actually. He's pretty much the weatherman of the day. Shaurya Singh, ladies and gentlemen, in the house.
Cricket had the legendary Henry Blowfield, and we have Shaurya Singh.
I'm not quite certain how to react after being inundated with such beautiful words. I think all I can say is that it's a little chilly, and it's a little chilly here in Chandigarh as well. As you have a look at hole number 18, that water looks nice for a dip, but not if you're playing the round. We've seen that a few battles have come right till the end, and that the watery grave has indeed stung a few players. I remember the playoff between Rashid Khan and Shiv Kapoor, where Shiv won the Jeev Milkha Invitational, I think almost 4 years ago or 3 years ago. That was quite the battle.
Our friend from the head of media here at the PGTI of India, Nikhil Kalan, has just apprised us that the youngest winner on the PGTI was Karandeep Kochar at 17 years and 5 months, the tournament that he won as an amateur golfer. And then Shubhankar Sharma, the player who plays now on the DP World Tour, is 70. He was the youngest winner at 17 years and 8 months. And Manoj S now is 17 years and 7 months old. So if there wasn't enough pressure already, Manoj, you would be one of the youngest winners on the PGTI. And that, ladies and gentlemen, on the 18th hole here at the Chandigarh Golf Club is the kind of pin location which the players would want to be more prudent with. Pin is 12 in from the front and 6 from the right, close enough to the water hazard on the right side. So if you try to be too cute with that flag stick, you could end up with the kind of location that Mari Muthu has found himself in.
Yeah, I actually favor this flag. It's a lot more difficult than the one on the right hand because here you're not quite certain whether to go for it or not. At least on the right, you know that you take a few yards extra and go beyond the flag. Here, it's a lot more precariously placed because it looks fairly benign because it's towards the left hand side, and so you're not really taking extra yardage, so as to speak, and you are attacking the flag. And if you just veer off a little bit from your intended line on the right hand side, you can find that the ball will be gobbled up rather quickly. As he said, the rough also gobbles things up here, and so does the edge too.
Shaurya, I don't know if you remember, now the green is a little different than what it used to be back in the day. And I think there used to be 3 tiers to the green earlier. And the water hazard was pretty much the same, but there were 3 tiers, and that just made the hole a lot more interesting.
Yeah, of course. I think water has come a lot more into play now. Because previously water wasn't there almost. We're talking about a decade back as we look at not the best, not a Sunday special. And of course, you can see he's not happy with that chip either. So he'll have that putt for bogey now. So
Yuvraj Sandhu, of course, coming off a bogey on the 17th hole, looking to make his amends here on the 18th so that he can keep his charge on, not only for the Order of Merit, but also for the Trident Open.
The 15th is definitely the pick of the holes. It's playing as the most difficult hole today. We've seen quite a few double bogey there, surprising, especially from the players in the top 10. Mohammad Azhar has had a double, Yuvraj Sandhu, and even the long-hitting Varun Parekh with a double bogey there. As you have a look at UV now. This putt, one of the easier putts on this hole, downhill. Not a lot of break on this, and the greens are not too fast this week, so this should get there on its own. So let's hope that he makes this one. It's looking good. It's looking good, and a little dose of heartbreak right at the end.
That's a bit of a putt coming back, though. That one breaks a little bit from the right or left, but quite a tiny break on that one. Literally goes on a thread.
Yeah, but he's good with the ones coming back. He reminds me a little bit of Greg Norman. If you've read his book, Greg was a very aggressive putter, and he used to have a penchant for hitting the back of the cup. And Yuvraj is very similar in the way that he approaches his putting game, very assertive. And of course, we've seen from our tour, and Rashid Khan is somebody who does that. And you can only do that when the ball is hitting the center of the putter. You can't quite be an aggressive putter unless you have a good stroke.
In fact, I've played a little bit with Ajitesh back in the day, and he does that quite a bit. He actually, we played an amateur tournament together at this very golf course, and I remember him, hitting every putt, nice and strong, about 4 or 5 feet by. So either it went at the back of the cup and went in the hole, or he was putting back about 5 feet, 6 feet, and he was ever so firm even with the ones coming back.
As we have a look at Mari Muthu, we'll see what approach he employs here. Of course, not one to waste time. Likes to really get on with it, and would make a double here. He's not going to be a happy camper finishing with a double bogey. Mari Muthu R.
I'm not quite sure if that's Mari's double bogey shot. I think did he take a free relief on the side of the green, or did he take a relief from the water hazard? I think it was a free relief in, he's probably one of those hydrants were in play, I think.
Maybe pitched it ahead and spun back. We're not quite certain. We'll definitely.
Yes, because I think the water hazard, it would only be if the ball pitches up there and spins back in.
So.
Yeah.
A little bit of conjecture by us. We'll sure find out what the truth was. Maybe it's a 5, but either way, it's at least a drop shot. Something that Yuvraj definitely does not want, as he has this 3.5 footer coming back, which should break right to left. And he's done well. Holds it. A local lad making great strides in the game of golf. He's somebody who's grown in stature over the last 3-4 years and works really hard. It's a very competitive sport, I must say that, especially now with all the competition and the prize money that has gone up. Of course, as they say, where there is honey, there are bees. So, of course, you're finding a lot more players coming up through the ranks. Even the players from yesteryear are shaping up and doing well.
There we go on the 18th tee box, a hole where you've got to really cut one from the left trees. And literally have to slice that one back into the fairway. That was Shaurya Bhattacharya off the tee box.
Yeah, something that is unique, and it would be interesting to see how Shamim plays this hole, because he doesn't quite have a left-right shot in his arsenal. I remember him back in the day when I played with him. He used to hit a driver over those trees and draw it almost from the outer bounds. I don't know if he still employs that shot, so would be interesting, because this is definitely one-way traffic on this hole. You have to work it from left right. A squeeze fade is what they call it, a low one that sort of just works to the right hand.
Well, I think hitting a draw over those tall eucalyptus is quite the task, and I'd be having my EBGBs if I was trying that, or even looking at it for that matter. And somehow the ball has a tendency. I've seen, for guys who try to do that, I've seen that somehow the golf ball has a tendency to hit those eucalyptuses and usually land up in the driving range.
Yeah, it would be quite the daunting task, to be honest with you, to hit a draw on this hole, unless you probably maybe hit a 3-wood and just draw it off that tree and try to get to about 150 yards for somebody like Shamim. Maybe I think a 3-wood and a 7-iron, but 3-wood 8-iron maybe. But that would make this hole really difficult, given the water hazard is there as well, and he hits a draw. So it would be interesting to note. This is one of those holes that from the looks of it, that he'd find himself a little shortchanged if he's only going to employ the draw.
Well, but good news for all the slicers who are listening to us, because this is one hole where your shot is actually going to come in handy for you all, and you don't have to really cook one up.
Yeah, but the golf ball doesn't quite work on command. On a hole like this, a slicer would probably end up hitting a pull draw. So, that's how the game of golf works, unfortunately. Your shortcomings, when you think they'll help you, they don't. That's just the rule of golf. It's whatever you think will happen, the diametrically opposite happens. So, as we have a look at Akshay here, and that's a good one, keeping the flag in and holds it, which what appears to be the par 5 16th.
I think he's got one shot back over here, Akshay Sharma, with 3 drop shots on that back nine. He's really having a tough time out there. Should have moved back to 5 under par.
Quite the round by Anga Chima. 66 here is really something to celebrate.
It's quite crowded here, Shaurya, on 5 under par, 4 under par, as well as on 3 under par. 2 under par seems like it's a never-ending story out there.
Yeah, quite a few players. I just saw, and I have to give a shout out to my friend Kushal Singh, aka Rocky. Rocky is at 2 under for the tournament, 3 under. So nice to see him doing well.
He came very close to getting his win on the PGTI Next Gen, I think 2 weeks back in Bhubaneswar, or was it last week?
I think last week, as we have a look at Manu here at the par 5, which this putt should break from right to left, but we've seen that right towards the end, it has a little bit of twist in the tail, so we'll break to the right. Let's see if he's able to crack this maze. You can see that he's been really spending a lot of time in the gym.
Yeah, seems like he's looking quite fit. Unfortunately, we'll lip that one out.
Yeah, golf now is definitely a power game.
100% sure. I mean, in fact, I was seeing that, even now, if you look at all the players who make it to, college golf and who are playing top level on the amateur internationally, they all pound the golf ball at least 300 yards in the air.
Yeah, I think 300
it's pretty much the norm.
Is the new 260. It's like orange is the new black. So it is pretty much like that as we have a look at Badal. I was quite surprised, to be honest, when we saw those players at the Delhi golf course and the ferocity with which the ball comes out. I think, I actually thought that the ball is going a lot further than what I expected to. When you watch it on TV and you see it in reality, it's not just the speed at which they swing; it's the way the ball comes out.
Manu Gandas cleaning up here on the 16th and really playing that one up by the edge.
Of course, from our tour, I can of course think of quite a few ball strikers like Veer, that an absolute top pedigree, strong ball striker. Yuvraj, able to put that cheese on the ball.
That's why we see
Passion can be soft comfortable and good looking. My Trident, my love for home.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है मुश्किल खड़ी है खोले सीना सामने एक चट्टान है मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद क्या पावाली जिद.
What a great shot! But he looks tired. And that's a drinks break.
But what's the plus sign for?
अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस. जब लगे थकान वाली प्यास, जरूरी है सेल लेवल हाइड्रेशन. इसके इलेक्ट्रोलाइट्स आपके सेल्स को रिहाइड्रेट करें, एनर्जी लौटाएं, थकान वाली प्यास मिटाएं.
जब आपको भी लगे थकान वाली प्यास, अमृतांजन इलेक्ट्रो प्लस. थकान वाली प्यास के लिए.
Now back to the action here at hole number 18.
Seemed like Mohammad Sikdar has left himself really between in a very, very precarious spot over here. Will have a very delicate up and down to be made.
I think his prayers have been answered. That ball didn't quite go back in the hazard. Looks precariously close to it. It's a pretty straightforward shot coming up.
Yep, I think it's a little bit tricky because there's not very much room to play with, and the ball also seems to be sitting down a little bit, nestled in the rough. So he'll have to pick this one up, and we'll have to play with a little bit of release on the green. And there is a slight amount of downhill from where he's hitting, so very much depends on how that ball comes out of that lie.
Yeah, and he's taking the aerial route, not playing that bump and run. He's done brilliantly well. What a shot by him.
Absolutely. A scintillating effort here by Samrat Sikdar, almost making a chip-in birdie here.
That would be a shot worth viewing again. You saw how deft the touch was. Brilliant.
Absolutely. Pretty much dropped that as perfectly as one could.
Top shelf short game right there. As I'm having a look at the record of Manoj S, the youngster, only 17 years old, from Karnataka Golf Association. He's played quite a few tournaments with some really good finishes. Earlier in the year, a 10th at Chhattisgarh at the SCCL Open, and an 11th at Coal India Open, and Tamil Nadu Open 8th, 5th the Pune Club Open, and Chennai Open 8th. So a brilliant future that he has in front of him, and brilliant present as well. He's really playing some spectacular golf.
Absolutely. I think is this also his rookie year, Shaurya? See, now take a look at his birdie attempt over here on the 18th. Yes, very much his rookie year.
Yes, his rookie year, and that putt finds the bottom of the cup as well.
Well, that'll be 9 under par for Manoj S with that birdie and a little fist pump with himself and his playing partner Shaurya Bhattacharya. Shaurya looking to make his own birdie here now on the 18th.
Yeah, really playing and staving off competition in style is Manoj. You know, the youngsters of today, they don't quite have a case of nerves. Pretty strong.
I think there's a lot to do with, the kind of training that happens now. And thereafter, I think also the fact that you're not allowed more than 30 seconds to hit a shot, I think that also helps quite a bit because, of course, it makes the game quicker, but it also reduces the thinking a little bit.
I think one of the things which has happened, obviously, is the absolute explosion of social media and so on and so forth. As you have a look at Shaurya Bhattacharya here, it's there was a lot of mystique in years past about the better players, and you would see them at some tournaments, and have a look at this putt downhill, breaking a little bit to the right at the end, and he seems to have missed it to the left, and a little bit of miscue here from Shaurya at hole number 18. So we're talking about yesteryears that there was almost an air of mystique around your top players when we were youngsters, the Jyoti Randhawa, Jeev and Arjun Atwal and so on and so forth. You would not see them in so many tournaments on the local tours. The tours were smaller at that point in time, and media was not so much. And I think that's made a difference because it's just the proliferation You see them a lot more everywhere. You can see it, accessibility to information, coaching, and so on and so forth. So it's leveled the playing field, and I think that maturation process happens a lot faster now.
I think it's quite incredible. Actually, it's nice to see players, reaching, shooting the deep underpower numbers very early on in their careers. Which, if you remember back in the day, they used to say that uh, I remember for some time it was 40 was the peak time for a golfer, and then it came around to be 30 is to be the peak time of the golfer. But today, look at Manoj S, and he's 17 years old, and we have him leading this prestigious tournament here.
Yeah, definitely good for the growth of the game. But if you're on the other end of the age spectrum, then you know that you really have your back against the wall. And of course, the elder players are improving as well, probably hitting the gym twice a week, twice a day. My apologies. Twice a week was maybe the yesteryears. As we have a look at the players exchanging pleasantries after the end of the round, it's difficult to keep up with this younger lot, but no free lunches here at the Professional Golf Tour of India. You have to earn your keep. There's a lot of prize fund to play for. 1 crore here at Chandigarh this week at the Trident Open 2025.
Terrific par here by Samrat Sikdar as well, must say, to stick around at 2 under par for the tournament. So very much still in the hunt, I would say. If he can get off to a hot start on the front nine tomorrow.
This week, the Trident Group is an Indian business conglomerate and a global player led by the dynamic Mr. Rajendra Gupta, Member of Parliament and Chairman. Headquartered in Ludhiana, Punjab, Trident is one of the largest players in the home textiles department in India and abroad. The company operates in 3 major business segments: textiles, paper, and chemicals. And this quite the tournament features Indian players such as Yuvraj, Arjun Prasad, Shaurya Bhattacharya, Angad Cheema, Om Prakash Chauhan, former number 1, and Manu Gandas, to name a few. You also have quite a few foreign players: N. Thanga, Raja, K. Prabhakaran, Jamal Hussain, Siddiqur Rahman, Badal Hussain, and Americans Koichiro Sato and Derek Tromchuk. I am pretty certain that I made a mockery of the name. Very difficult to pronounce. I'll try once again. Derek Trofimchuk. Yes, we'll go with that. And Nepal's Subhash Tamang, Italy's Federico Zucchetti, and Uganda's Joshua Seals. So the world is represented here this week at the Tri-City. And so aptly named the Trident Open.
On the 17th hole now, we've got Badal Hussain coming up from the fairway.
17th is definitely a birdie hole. And that's a good shot by Badal. He's showing you how to get it done in the conservative way, going with maybe a 5 iron or a 6 iron off the tee and then a 100-yard shot. But you'll see the aggressive players will try and hit this green. For the longer hitters, it's in range. Let me have a look at Akshay here. That's a good shot. Coming from an awkward angle, that's a pretty good shot. Didn't have much green to work with. He's done well.
That's a lovely wedge shot for him. Shaurya, somehow, even if I've tried to hit a 5 iron or a 4 iron off this tee, somehow I just can't.
With luxurious 100% cotton bed sheets. My Trident, where luxury finds home.
पढ़ता है, खेलता है, झूलता उछलता है, दौड़ता कभी कभी दौड़ कराता है, आगे आगे बढ़ता है इंडिया, अमूल दूध पीता है इंडिया.
I'm sorry, sir. My mistake.
पर हम भी जिद्दी है. मुश्किल खड़ी है, खोले सीना, सामने एक चट्टान है, मेरी जिद का बोले पसीना, चट्टानों के अंदर आसमान है. जिद क्या बावाली, जिद क्या बावाली, जिद क्या बावाली, जिद.
actually, because he was staring at that for a bit.
Yeah, not quite certain what would have happened. Maybe it didn't, because it would have definitely rolled in the bunker. So
But looking at him now, his eyes seem to be set on finding a way to chip this in.
yeah, this is makeable. What would you say?
Absolutely, for a player of his stature, it certainly is a makeable chip in.
Ball seems to be sitting well, so maybe go with a 54 degree here. But when you're trying to make it, are you thinking something separate from your normal process, or is it the same? Or do you consciously say that I want to try and make this chip, or just stick about the routine and hit the same shot again?
Sure, I think that'll be a little different for a different player. So, like if I was to just talk about myself or some of the players that I kind of work with and interact with on a daily basis, I think your intention has to be in there first, and then you can plan your way through after that. Let's take a look at Mohammad Azhar. Let's see what his intention is set at here on the 18th hole.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain. Would he be thinking of holding it from here? Though of course it's pretty genial. Once you just let it pitch on the downhill, it does roll towards the flag. It's not the most difficult chip shots. He has a lot of green to work with.
But he certainly has a lot of green to work with, and I think if the lie of the ball is good, he would certainly be looking at chipping that in.
Anything downhill on this green somehow tends to get closer to the flag. Let's see how he does. A lot would depend on the kind of lie that he's drawn. And this shot would also tell you that he was a little conservative on his second shot. Not trying to flirt with that water. I know he's was opting for the putter, but giving that away. Putter would have been a more conservative choice. When from outside the green and a player takes a putter, normally he's just trying to make two from there.
Going with a bump and run type of an approach. Unfortunately, that ball seems to have caught itself in the teeth of the green.
Yeah, a little shot there from surprising. Never quite seen balls staying short from there.
Kind of got like a dead bounce when it dropped.
Yeah. So
Shubham Jaglan, of course, a little more flirtatious with that water hazard. He is going with a putter. Let's see if he can make this birdie.
Yeah, he's turned into a strong man. Was a diminutive youngster. Always a very good player. Of course, exposure to the college golf and the facilities there, of course, done him a world of good.
For those of you who are just joining us, this is the Trident Open 2025 being played here at the Chandigarh Golf Club for a prize purse of 1 crore rupees. This is the 23rd event on the PGTI calendar. We're taking a look here now on the 18th green. We have Shamim Khan putting for a birdie, currently at a score of 2 under par. Leader for this tournament currently is Manoj S., the 17-year-old from the Karnataka Golf Association. Shamim comes up just short for that birdie. Would have that tap in left for a 4. And Manoj S., of course, leading by 1 shot over Manu Gandas, who is at 8 under par currently with 2 holes to play.
Very conventional putting grip.
So what do you think about that, Shaurya? Like, I see a lot of players now going with, the claw grip. Lots and lots of players. In fact, a lot of junior players also going with the claw grip. And Shubham Jaglan nearly making that putt, coming up just short on that birdie attempt.
I think you'd agree with me if I say that we never quite saw too many claw grips in our time.
Yes.
Of course, it's more of an artifact now. It's of the times, and I think it's when players are trying to find something that sticks. And claw grip is good, but it doesn't lend itself well to slower greens. I feel it's one for quick greens. So anytime you're below 10, I think you're going to struggle with a claw grip.
Well, lots of players now. In fact, Tommy Fleetwood also plays with a claw grip. So, this is something that players do when their right hand is too overactive, and they, to pacify that, they sort of use the claw grip for that purpose. And, back in the day, they used to do a little bit of the reverse overlap, leaving the right side out of play completely, was my way of playing that hole correctly.
Yeah, I used to do the same. I used to find it very daunting to try and go through, thread the needle. You used to feel that you don't have much of a margin. You could do that if you're going with maybe a 3-iron or a 2-iron, but I think if you're going with a driver, trying to go through the trees is, you sort of narrowing your target down. So, but I think those trees have gone a lot taller. I think that shot has been taken out of the bag now.
Some of the the old timers from Chandigarh like Gurbaz Maan and even G Milkha Singh. I've seen them play the low bunt driver on that tee, and they do it absolutely phenomenally. Like it's something else to the eye. It's like a treat in itself. But yes, a very daunting shot with eucalyptus on the left and the right, and if you just miscue it by a yard or so, it's a tough one. Here you go, Badal Hussain now. Coming up from off the tee. It seems like he's cut that one up brilliantly back
Yeah.
into the fairway.
And you see the ball won't roll much because all the players are hitting a left-right shot on this hole.
The left-right shots tend to spin a lot more. Is it Shaurya?
Yeah, they don't roll as much as the right-left because the way the ball is spinning, so you'll see that it sort of comes to an abrupt stop here.
So interesting to note here, right, Shaurya, that if you remember back in the day, there used to be this thing that the player who hits the draw is the one who hits it further, and the player who hits the fade is actually the one who hits it shorter. But since the time the trackmans and the data and so on and so forth has come into the picture, it's now known that the fader actually ends up carrying the ball a lot longer. The drawer actually ends up finishing the ball a lot longer, and that goes to sort of be complementary to the point that you made. That is Manu Gandas on the tee box.
Very interesting note. He's hit it a little bit to the right, and he's hit a big one. I must say that's quite the drive by Manu Gandas.
Manu Gandas can hit that a long, long way. He is just coming off that bogey on the 17th hole and will need a birdie. 7 under par right now for the tournament. 2 shots away from Manoj.
Yeah, so Manu would have been a little hot under the collar. So you can see that he's let go of a blood-curdling big drive and rather unfortunate bogey for him on the 17th after that stellar drive. That would have looked fantastic when he would have hit it.
I think he had some trouble there on the left side of the green, and that's what has actually led to that bogey. I think that poor lie in the bunker. I think he took another shot somewhere, and that's just led to a 5 over here. So to a very unassuming little hole, the 17th, even though a reachable par 4. If you find yourself in a tough spot, you can just be spending all your day out there. And talking about all the day out there, you've got 5 players tied at the 3rd position at 5 under par. Yuvraj, Shaurya, Mohammad Azhar, Shubham Jaglan, Akshay Sharma. And we have Jamal Hussain, Varun Parekh and K. Prabhakaran at 4 under par. So very much, well within the reach of Manoj. So, even K. Prabhakaran, Varun Parekh and Jamal Hussain, if they can get off to a solid start in the morning, they're just 5 shots away. I've seen a lot of players over here on this golf course coming up with the front 9 being at 5 under or 6 under par to start the day with, and that can really be something tomorrow. Akshay has a good look at this pin location. The green sort of opens up towards the left side of the fairway, so a very straight up look for him. Players coming in from the right side are actually hitting the shot over the water hazard onto the green. As you can tell that now very clearly, players from the left side can see the front part and the opening of the green, but players on the center and the right side would contend over the water hazard and try to spin up one as good as possible.
Yeah, this is not the most ideal lie coming out of the rough, so he'll have to play it a little safe. I don't think he'll be flirting with the water hazard here on hole number 18.
I think he has an uphill attempt now for birdie, just about 18 feet or so.
Smart play, right?
Absolute good shot at birdie for him.
Badal, I'm not quite certain if he went with the driver of the tee or a 3-wood. Of course, Badal does hit it shorter than Akshay. Akshay has the ability of hitting that drive sometimes well over 300. Normally plays the left-right fade.
I think Badal plays a bit of a draw, like you had mentioned earlier, and with him trying to cut that one off that tee box, I think he would have probably shaved off some yards of it. I don't think he's a shot hitter by any means, but because it's a shot which is probably an anomaly shot for him, he would have shaved some yards off it. Badal Hussain now coming up for his approach towards the green.
Let's see what kind of shot shape he employs. There seems to be the draw, as you mentioned, and a draw right on the money. Quick on the draw, right on the flag. A beautiful shot, leaving himself a 14-15 feet putt coming back.
Brilliant shot here for Badal, and he's also set himself up for a birdie here.
You know, our cameras still can't pan to Manu Gandas. He's that far ahead. He's anytime now. Oh, that is just stupendous. That's I'm not quite certain if you've seen somebody that far. He's almost. We'll find out soon of how many yards short of the hazard is he.
And Manu should have just about a flip of a wedge away here for himself, about maybe 100 yards or so to the flag.
But that's not going to help him from this angle. With the flag where it is, he won't have much green to work with, and will also have to. It will still have green, but that water will play on his mind.
Yep, I think Manu has plenty of experience behind him, and I don't think he's even looking at the water. He's probably going to be a little aggressive with it, play a little past the hole.
Yeah, exactly. Go a little past the hole as we.
From that angle, going. Oh, lovely shot there by Manu Gandas, setting himself up for a very realistic birdie opportunity, just about 5 feet away from the hole.
Water? No water. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? Look at that
Sure,
shot by Manu.
I think he's sent you to drink some water, buddy.
Absolutely. He's sent me an answer with that beautiful shot. And that's why he was the number one. It's
Absolutely.
all about intestinal fortitude, my friend. And he has that plenty.
And definitely looking a lot stronger than a few months ago is Manu Gandas.
Yeah, I think he's employed the Rocky Balboa routine. A lot of weight, a lot of lead, and a lot of good food. And that's what helps you hit shots like these.
The colourful Akshay Sharma now trying to get a red on his scorecard. Finish the day in under par figures, currently even par for the day. Made 3 birdies and 3 bogeys. Badal Hussain unfortunately hasn't quite been able to do any damage on that leaderboard today. He's shot a pair of 70 on the first 2 days, 2 under and 2 under, and today is going on at a 2 over par. Still has a birdie putt here, an opportunity to shave off 1 shot of that.
Yeah, the cut this week was applied at 4 over par, and one of the highest cuts in recent history on this golf course, owing to the greens, which have been quite difficult for the players to judge this week. Himmat Singh Rai missing the cut, winner on the Asian Tour and belonging to this part of the country. Then you also have Federico Zucchetti missing the cut. So Mukesh Kumar, the old warhorse, missing the cut as well. And
Sharma looking at that birdie opportunity now. Look at this ball. Going to curve a little bit from the right to the left. There is a little slope on the right side of the hole from his angle. From our angle that we look at it, it's on the left side of the hole. So look at this golf ball going uphill and turning a bit left towards the hole.
Look for him to make this putt. Hit a good putt.
Absolutely. What a lovely attempt here by Akshay. But definitely a disappointing end for him for this third day. Akshay has been very confident through the week about his chances to win this week. But at this moment, 4 shots away from the leader, Manoj, Akshay will surely have to cook up something special in the morning.
Yeah, but you'd say that anything within 5 shots on a golf course like this, which does give you a few birdie opportunities, and if you're not quite on song, you can drop a few as well. So it is a golf course where you can actually catch someone if you're on song. It's a ball striker's golf course, so if you're on your game, and then I think it's possible to shave off around 5 or 6 shots, especially given the fact that this is his home course. He knows this place like the back of his hand and has had a lot of success here previously as well.
Absolutely. As we now take a look at Badal Hussain, Badal, from where he's coming, the ball is going to break a little bit from the left to the right. It's not a huge amount of a break, so it's a tough read. You've seen players missing it a little bit on the left and a little bit on the right, so clearly it's tough to read this spot.
Yeah, it looks fairly straightforward. That should break a little bit to the right at the end. Let's see if he can crack the Rubik's Cube. Has he? He has not.
Unfortunately, he leaves it right in the jaws of the hole.
Yeah, a lot of intrigue and drama, but in the end, the ball stays out. That looked good. The entire duration looked that.
Yeah, but it just didn't have the legs though.
So yeah, that unfortunately not able to capitalize after that stellar shot from the fairway.
The Zen-like Manu Gandas now putting for a birdie over here. Make amends for that last blemish on the 17th hole. The only bogey that he has on the scorecard today.
Yeah, he's very zen-like. Neither a grimace nor a frown. Rarely do you see him sort of display any emotion. Maybe after this birdie,
This little putt
crack a little smile.
move to 8 under par. Manu Gandas should also make Manu finish the round at 3 under for the day. Solid putt here. Manu Gandas moving to 8 under par to be just one shot behind Manoj S from Karnataka.
Yeah, the 17-year-old is going to be sleeping on the lead. And it's been pretty good golf here this week.
Absolutely, and this we're looking at a very, very interesting leaderboard. We've got a crowd of players at 5 under and 4 under par, as well as 3 under par. Leader at 9 under, Manu at 8 under. So anything is really possible, and I think the fun of the final round, the drama that is going to be unveiled tomorrow, is just going to be absolutely interesting to view.
Yeah, no doubt about that. I think this tournament is poised for quite the cliffhanger. Manoj S, the youngster, will really have to keep his wits about him. He'll be playing alongside two greats, Manu Gandas and Yuvraj Sandhu. And I'm pretty certain that he's not going to get overawed by the situation. Yuvraj, of course, would be gunning for glory. He's number one and would want to extend that lead. And then you have Shaurya Bhattacharya. He's already tasted success recently, so he'll be a good top contender as well. Shubham Jaglan, Akshay Sharma, Jamal Hussain is very proficient and can produce his best on the final day. Varun Parekh, K. Prabhakaran, and Gaurav Pratap. He's only 6 behind. Even when he's 18 behind, he's very certain that he can contend and win. So with 6, you never know if he gets off to a good start. It could be lights out. Gaurav Pratap Singh maybe shoot another brilliant round tomorrow and put a number up there. And of course, a long-hitting Anshul Kavatyal, Angad Cheema. So it's going to be interesting. And it's been quite the day today. Yeah, from beautiful Chandigarh.
Beautiful view there of the Sukna Lake as well as the greens here at the Chandigarh Golf Club. That I think is the second hole's fairway that we are viewing right there, and Sukna Lake right on the side. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the beautiful 18th hole, flanked by the water hazard, which my friend Shivas takes a swim in.
You used to have the gazebo there. Of course, that's been built into a proper structure. And a lot of history here. And do join us again. We're going to take you into the highlights shortly and run you through the happenings of the day thus far.